Welcome to the talk show Life Stories with Marc Hoberman. The goal of this show is to provide a learning experience to people of all ages, with guests from various fields in academics, a wide range of industries, and insight into the many forms of art, athletics, and entertainment. We hope you enjoy the show. Actress and voiceover specialist Katie Chonacas is today's featured guest. Katie will speak about her experiences in entertainment, as well as her passion to use her voice to inspire change and transformation in people who want to make an impact on the world.
Hello and welcome to the talk show Life Stories with Marc Hoberman. My guest today is actress and voiceover specialist Katie Chonacas. Katie will be speaking about her experiences in her film career, as well as the many other things she does. Let's bring her on. Katie Chonacas, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Marc, for having me. I'm excited to be here, and thank you to the person tuning in.
Absolutely. Katie, it may be the dream of many young people to grow up to be television or movie stars, but what made you become interested in a career in entertainment?
For me, the initial intuitive hit is I like to make other people laugh. It feels good. It's the I call it the cycle of positivity. So I see, at a very young age, being very sensitive, an empath, HSP, a highly sensitive person. I didn't know that language then, but just very sensitive as a human, just observing what was happening in the world. And I saw and felt a lot of people's pain. And growing up in Detroit, I didn't watch the news a lot, but on the news, there was always chaos. So I didn't watch it. But the couple times that I did watch it, I saw there was all that distraction and stuff happening. And I just wanted to be positive and happy. And so I projected that out vigorously and just to project happiness and positivity of other people feeling that way. And it made me feel good to inspire and make others feel good. So that's my life path so far.
Well, I love that philosophy, and I hope, especially to the young people watching, that's a great answer, a great mindset, actually. So, you've been in this business for quite a while. So what are some of the highlights of your acting career so far?
Wow. Well, I think a huge highlight in my career is a new show I just booked. Why? Because once you get the momentum going and the consistency going, and it takes forever to hit it or get that carrot, but once you do, you just ride the wave. I've done that twice in Hollywood, and then I left twice. But this time I've traveled the world, I've dabbled, I've been successful in different areas, but this time I'm not running, and I'm not letting anyone get in the way, but most importantly, I'm not letting myself get in the way of my own success, which I did before, and they call it self-sabotage. So this is my third time going to bat in Hollywood, and I just booked a lead in a new series. It's coming out around Halloween. It's wild because two amazing, legendary SAG-AFTRA casting directors who cast TV and film cast me. It's in a scripted podcast series because podcast series are becoming so big, and it's a union podcast scripted series, 10 episodes. I'm in all 10 episodes. We already recorded all of it in 10 days. And so I'm so proud, and it's like the comeback queen role. It's like getting me back on the map in Hollywood to be that one thing that you need to then just start being in the synergy of booking more and more. So that's the one I'm most proud of right now. And
this is audio, all audio?
Yeah, it's audio.
Gotcha. So yeah, because we're going to talk about your voiceover work, but I want to circle back a little bit. The self-sabotage, when you talk about, it sounds like you were your own worst enemy. And that's not good in any business, but that's probably a death sentence in Hollywood. So could you walk us through a little bit, without getting too personal, or as personal as you're comfortable getting, what that self-sabotage looked like?
Sure. The most important key takeaway from all of this is knowing that I knew that I was going to grow through something, that I needed to go through something to grow. However, energy is energy, no matter if it's good or bad, if it happened to me or someone, if it was my fault or someone, it doesn't matter. It's energy. It's how we respond to that energy. So I went through it, knew I had to go through something, didn't know what it was, went through that thing, but I knew it was going to make me a better actor. I knew it was going to make me a better human for humanity. I knew it was going to be this experience, that it was a part of my journey, and I knew I was going to apply it to my craft. So I take all of that of which I went through, and I apply it to my acting. Socrates, know thyself from within, without. I was going on all these auditions, and I kept hitting a wall. It was like Tom Hanks's son's girlfriend, between me and her. Or it was like the writer's daughter of like the scripted series. And I just, or like she looks too young. And I was just like, I kept hitting this wall. And it was just like, I needed to like connect more. And it's all about the audience. They laugh with us, they cry with us. There's multi-millions of people watching our work. And so to leave my legacy and to really know myself from within and without, I knew I had to grow through what I did, but I knew I was doing it for my actor. I knew I was doing it for the craft of acting, and I apply it to the canvas.
So that's excellent. But I'd love to know if you were talking to a niece or or a younger you and said, hey, this is a tough business. Let me help shortcut it just a little bit for you. Make sure you don't do this. Or do you want people to make mistakes to learn from them? Or might it be a combination of both?
Yeah. So the thing I'm talking about is separate from what you're asking. And so from what you're asking, and this is what I did from day one, and it's still relevant today from 2001 till today, even better. But when you collect the business cards or digital business cards, IMDb Pro, IMDb, you can go see who's who and make sure you see like if they're actually working on a project. And if they are working on a project, is it within your ethos? Is it your standards of what projects you want to be in? Is it the projects that you want to be a part of? So always do your own research and never go and just like meet someone, make sure it's in a public place, make sure people know who you're with, where you're going, things of that nature, and always get representation. It doesn't matter if it's a boutique agency, you want representation, not off Craigslist, not off some like weird thing. Actors Access is cool because it's vetted through Actors Access and Breakdown Services, but you want representation representing you. You want to go in and be the actor. Kevin Costner gave me the best advice in my career. And on Sunset Boulevard one time when I first came to Hollywood, he's like, kid, he's like, you need an agent, you need a manager, you need a job, F the rest. Agent, manager, job. So if we can just stay focused, because there's all those shiny things and there's the hoops of other people telling you what you should do. So the number one thing to know is when someone's sharing and caring, because we're like, a dog panting thirsty for water, and we're just so excited, like jump a hoop. How many hoops? For how long should I run for? So no one is ever going to make us do something that we're uncomfortable doing something. If we feel uncomfortable doing something and the people are applying the pressure for you to do it, run. Those aren't your people. Like if it's me or someone, I can share. If you're asking me, or even if you're not, and I'm seeing something for you and I'm projecting and I'm like, hey, I think this is good for you, or I'm just giving you some advice, or is that okay? Healthy communication. But like if I'm sharing something and they're reciprocating it, the energy, like if they're not comfortable doing something, I'm not going to have them do something they're not comfortable doing. And if they are doing that, then they're not your people. So we want to make sure that we like walk along an ethical path together. And that's why I have my podcast. She's all over the place. Podcast, Arts and Entertainment with Ethics, Morals, and Values. Because I share my journey of 2 decades in entertainment. Not that it's right or wrong. Just, hey, what I learned in 10 years, if you can learn it in 10 days or 10 seconds, that's great. So just caring and sharing, just like you, by having this podcast so we can, share with our communities, for a multitude of reasons. So those are some like initial hacks that I would tell like my niece, and any youngsters coming into the industry.
I love that advice because quite honestly, as an educator of over 30 years, I like what you say, because a lot of what you say, I'm hearing safety. I'm hearing don't go on Craigslist and meet in a public place. And you don't, I don't hear that often in these interviews. And that's really golden. And not just for young people, for anyone who wants to go into the entertainment industry.
Yeah, but it's number one. Safety is, I'm all about safety. It's in health. It's number one.
I think that's great. And also, I want to circle back one more time to, I know this is your third time's a charm, delving back into the Hollywood circle, so to speak. But I often say on the show that, we know the glory, but we don't know the story. So your initial jump into the deep end of Hollywood initially, what were some of the struggles you've had to face to get where you are today?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's a great question. So, some of the struggles. Okay, here's one. So the thing is, when I first came to Hollywood, and my very first network role was CSI New York with Gary Sinise. And then It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Cold Case, like one thing after another, testing for 3 TV shows, my first pilot season. But the thing is, like, the agent gets paid 10%. So there's the whole 90%. So I'm a butterfly and I'm a networking queen. I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, I didn't do any drugs. I would go to all the networking events at nighttime to meet these producers and Hollywood lifestyle, things like that. And I wouldn't partake in any of those kind of things. And I'd be dancing, my spirit, having a good time and stuff. And I would collect business cards, like 50 business cards, because, you know, everyone had the business cards back then. And but that was a lot of energy. Like I said, energy isn't wasted, but maybe I could have utilized that better. I mean, it was before 2012 when Jonah Hill and people were like, oh, pick up a camera with technology, go out and shoot your own stuff, you know? And when that happened at the Union in 2007, 2008, I started like producing my own music videos and everything. But I just reflect back and I see how many of those cards and people I actually met by going out at nighttime, and how many of them actually translated. Like, I would say out of, let's just say 3,000, maybe 2. So I don't think that was the best use of my time and energy, although it could have been fun. I was networking, I was exploring, I was seeing, and like I said, nothing goes wasted. But I have some friends who are like musicians who had like a partner, like a girlfriend or a boyfriend. They had representation and they were home. They were like having dinner, like having probably like a healthier lifestyle than going out, although I wasn't partying. But like doing music, had to deal with Sony, was an actor, had their music on the Noggin Network, on like Nickelodeon and stuff. So maybe I could have utilized that energy. I could have been painting, or I could have maybe been in partnership, but I was in partnership with myself and the industry and the world, that I wasn't intimately in a partnership with a human being, which maybe later on why I had struggles with my acting, because I had intimacy issues that I needed to go and have an experience of like actually having partnerships, because I was so in solitude that I was just so in love with the acting and the career that I wasn't actually relating when it came to some of the roles. So the quality of those choices, like, yeah, I was in acting class. Yeah, I was out there meeting people, but the agent, even though it seems like the agent only does 10%, so you want to go out for, fine, if you go out for coffees and stuff, but maybe I could have met better quality people in a yoga class, maybe at a hike, maybe at daytime meetups, instead of like going out to meet people at night. I think I could have probably had better sustainable relationships.
They don't realize it's not just, hello, the movie's ready and you fly out there. There's connecting, there's networking, there's, you know, you're the fourth person. I interviewed Kevin Sorbo, who played Hercules many years ago on television. He talks about acting classes where he was sitting next to Matthew Perry and Brad Pitt before they were, you know, the big Matthew Perry and Brad Pitt. So you really have to, you know, you have to learn your craft. It's not just, oh, I have a knack for acting, and all this other business aspects of it. I think is phenomenal that you're involved in that. And as if acting is not enough for you, you know, we all have relatives that we imitate, some not so good, some better, and friends that we mock with our voices. But you've made quite a name for yourself doing voiceovers. So how did you get interested in doing voiceovers, whether it be animation, commercials, etc.? You've done so much. How did that play in?
Yeah, I mean, I love Care Bears, My Little Pony, Rainbow Bright growing up. I'm like a walking, talking billboard. I got branded Cartoon Katie because I have a very animated voice. But I love voiceovers. I was in Michigan where I grew up, and I actually was on a commercial, and they heard my voice on set, and they used fax machines back in the day, and they just faxed over another contract, put the boom mic right out at the kitchen table after the commercial. I played this 14-year-old girl in a Marco's Pizza commercial, and they just like had me do the voiceover right then and there. And then when I came to Hollywood and my manager took me around, the commercial division is the same division as the voiceovers. And I didn't have a reel or anything. They just put me in, and I was booking voiceover jobs, and I was going into the offices. And then before the Great Reset in 2020, everyone was getting home studios and doing it from home. Well, I was already doing it from home. Because I'm already international, traveling all the time. So I was already doing home studios. But yeah, I love video games, animation, commercials. It's so much fun. I'm so grateful for my team, and it's like a kid in a candy store. You know, it takes pressure off because you can read it right off the iPad. So you can really move around and get funky. And if there's like a pop or a plosive or, you know, some kind of thing that's happening with the mic, you can just take it back and do another thing. It's so different than like acting on screen where you're, everything has to look a certain way and then you're memorizing things. But yeah, I'm so grateful to be voiceover acting. It's just it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Because like on-screen acting, voiceover acting, and I'm a podcaster. I mean, they all go hand in hand, the three of them. It's a trio. It's like, because you're building your IP as you're building your IP from the ground up. So then when people say, oh, I want to work with Marc, oh, he has a podcast, they can hear your ethics, your morals, who you are, who you're interested in, what you stand for. And then they're like, oh, I want Marc to represent my brand because he and his community represent this. They're perfect. And that's how it is. It went from reality to podcasting, and like brands hearing like who I am and like, oh, she stands for this. She stands for mental wellness. She stands for this. We want her to be a part of this movie or this TV show, and the producer or the director relate, or the fan base can relate. And so it's really being a sovereign being and creating something out of nothing. And like everyone wants to jump on when like the train's going, but how about like finding some stake in the land, and there's enough for us all. Just carve out say, that's my land right here. Just carve it out and pioneer and build something that people don't know about. Because what we have going on in here is genius. And you and me, we don't know. We can have ideas and we can talk all day, but you're not going to get to the root, into the soul, into the gems and the depths of who I am. And I'm not going to know the depths of who you are until you go and you actually make it happen. And it's not something that's already been done. Maybe it's brushstrokes of things that have happened, but no one can do what you're going to do. It will never have the same shade of blue.
Absolutely. And you take this philosophy with you in this mindset because you work with some titans in the industry: Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Jessica Simpson, Morgan Freeman, to name drop just a few. How do you keep yourself grounded? Because it only takes 5 minutes to talk to you to know that you are grounded. How do you keep yourself grounded when you're with the best in Hollywood?
You're very sweet. You're very sweet. Thank you. Well, I come from great roots. So I know my roots, and my Yaya, she's my best friend, who I'm named after. Kyriaki means Sunday in Greek, the Saint Kyriaki. I pray. I'm very extroverted, but I always find moments for myself, even on a busy day, even if it's for X amount. I need to always make sure I check in with my feelings. I need to make sure I'm checking in with myself. Whether other people understand it or not, I need to check in with myself, because a lot of times, like, a lot of things are happening, and sometimes words can't explain because we're just feeling so much. So I'm just, I just breathe, and it's like really important to breathe. And now I'm in LA right now. So I make it my number one priority to be at the ocean as much as possible, and and do things that are going to enrich and inspire me. I love from the Great Reset of being in so much. And in LA, I'm going out a lot, so I'm seeing people. That's really feeding my heart and soul. Of communicating and interacting with others, creating, brainstorming, talking. Even if it doesn't happen, just to talk about it is exciting. Just to brainstorm with fellow artists is so cool. And I mean, I have markers around me. I have colors around me. I'm taking a lot of time to, for fashion, and to be girly, and just check in with my, divine femininity. So those little things like boost your confidence, like not explaining it to other people, just doing what makes you feel good. Like it could be the smallest thing, like going for a walk. Like it doesn't matter, but as long as it's going to make me feel good, like that's the most important thing for me to stay grounded.
So there's so much that you've done and so much information you could give, but I can't leave without the final 30 seconds, and it's not enough time to talk about all the things that you do, but give us the 30-second overview of your podcast.
Sure. She's all over the place. We almost have 100 episodes. We just wrapped the Women Empowerment series, arts and entertainment with ethics, morals, and values, focus on NFTs and mental wellness. It's the top 1.5% podcast out of almost 3 million podcasts.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, nothing surprising there. I mean, you are the Energizer Bunny. I don't know if you're too young to remember that commercial, but you are certainly the Energizer Bunny. And Katie Chonacas, I cannot thank you enough. Thank you for being here today and sharing your passion for your crafts. I can't even say your craft, for your crafts and all you do, and for the great advice you've given today, especially to young people who aspire to be successful in the industry as you have been. So thank you for being on here, and to the viewers, we'll see you soon. Have a great day. Katie, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you for watching Life Stories with Marc Hoberman. To contact Marc, email him at info@lifestorieswithmarchoberman.com or visit him on social media through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Thank you for watching Life Stories with Marc Hoberman.